Today, we're diving deep into what makes us truly effective. It's a journey that starts with the one person you think you know best, yourself. We'll uncover the hidden wiring of our minds, then zoom out to see how we can master working with others, and finally make sense of the larger systems we operate in. Think of this as a masterclass in effectiveness. Let's get into it. All right, let's kick things off with a little brain teaser to get the gears turning. Take a second and read this. An answer probably just jumped right into your head, didn't it? Go with your gut. Got it? Okay, hang on to that number because the real answer, well, it might just surprise you, and it reveals something pretty incredible about how we think. The answer is 5 cents. Now, if you thought 10 cents, don't worry, you are in very good company. It's the most common answer. But let's just walk through the math real quick. If the ball was 10 cents, then the bat, which is $1 more, would be $1.10, and that adds up to $1.20, which is wrong. But if the ball is 5 cents, the bat is $1.05, and together, boom, a perfect $1.10. This little puzzle is such a great example of how our quick, intuitive thinking can trip us up. And that puzzle, it's the perfect lead-in to our first big topic, your brain's hidden biases. These are the mental shortcuts, the little tricks our mind plays on us every single day. You can think of them like the default settings in our brain's software, shaping our decisions in ways we don't even realize. There's actually a name for this from a Nobel laureate named Herbert Simon. He called it bounded rationality. See, his whole point was that our brains aren't supercomputers. We have limits. So instead of spending forever trying to find the absolute perfect solution, what he called maximizing, we look for one that's just good enough. He coined a great word for it. We satisfy. And you know what? This is a feature, not a bug. It helps us make decisions quickly without getting stuck in analysis paralysis. But these shortcuts can lead us straight into some common traps, like anchoring bias. That's why the first salary number mentioned in a negotiation has so much power. Or confirmation bias, which is why we love scrolling through social media feeds that just tell us what we already believe. And the self-serving bias? Oh, that's a classic. It's when we take all the credit for our successes, but blame the traffic, the weather, or anything else when we fail. Sound familiar? Okay, so now we're a little more aware of our brain's tricks. Let's peel back another layer and look at the personal toolkit we're all working with. I'm talking about the stuff that makes you, your unique mix of intelligence and personality. So we've all heard of IQ, right? That's your book smarts. It's your raw brain power, your ability to analyze things. But there's another kind of intelligence that's just as, if not more, important. EQ, your emotional quotient. Think of this as your people smarts. It's about knowing yourself, managing your emotions instead of letting them manage you, staying driven, truly understanding where others are coming from, and just navigating the social world effectively. And when it comes to personality, one of the most reliable frameworks scientists use is called the Big Five. It basically says that our personalities are made up of a mix of 5 core traits. Imagine each one is a slider that can go from low to high. Openness to new experiences, how conscientious or disciplined you are, extroversion, agreeableness, and finally, emotional stability. Understanding where you and your teammates fall on these spectrums is a total game changer for collaboration. So, which is more important for getting ahead in your career, IQ or EQ? Well, the research on this is just staggering. One major study found that your ability to manage your emotions is 4 times more important than your IQ when it comes to professional success. Just let that sink in for a second. 4 times. That is just how powerful emotional intelligence really is. All right, understanding yourself is the foundation, but we don't work on an island, right? The next level of being effective is using all that self-knowledge to get better at interacting with other people, to start mastering the unwritten rules of we. I want to show you a really fantastic tool for this. It's called the Johari window. Just picture a window with 4 panes. The first pane is the open area. This is the stuff that you know about yourself and that other people know about you too. It's where trust and communication happen easily. For any team to work well, the goal is to make this pane of the window as big as possible. The next pane is the hidden area. This is what you know about yourself, but you keep private from others. Maybe your ambitions or your insecurities. We grow that open area by carefully shrinking this one through what's called self-disclosure. It's about building trust by sharing the right things with the right people. It's how we build real connections. Then we get to the blind area. Ooh, this is the tricky one. It's the stuff other people can see in you, but you're completely blind to.
Maybe it's a habit you have, or even a strength you don't recognize in yourself. The only way to shrink this blind spot is to do something that takes a lot of courage. You have to ask for feedback, and you have to be willing to really hear it. And the last pain, this is the exciting one, the unknown area. This is all your untapped potential, the talents and skills that neither you nor anyone else knows you have. Yet. We shrink this area and discover what's possible through shared experiences, tackling new challenges and learning together as a team. This is where real growth happens. Okay, time for another puzzle, but this one's more of a story about conflict. A farmer passes away and leaves his 17 horses to his 3 sons. The will is crystal clear. The oldest son gets half, the middle son gets a third, and the youngest gets a ninth. Now, how in the world are they supposed to divide 17 horses like that? You can't exactly chop a horse in half. They're stuck. The problem is, the sons are stuck in what's called distributive bargaining. They see a fixed resource, a pie, with 17 slices, or in this case, 17 horses, and they're just fighting to get their piece. It's a win-lose game. But there's another way. Integrative bargaining. Here, the goal isn't just to slice up the pie. The goal is to find a clever way to make the pie bigger so everyone can win. It's about shifting from what I want to why I want it. So how do they make the pie bigger? A wise traveler comes along and listens to their problem. She thinks for a moment and then says, "Here, take my horse, just for a minute." Now they have 18 horses. The eldest son takes his half, that's 9. The middle son takes his third, that's 6. And the youngest takes his ninth, that's 2. So let's see, 9 plus 6 plus 2 equals 17. The traveler's 18th horse is still there. She hops back on and rides away. Problem solved. That's a true win-win. Okay, so we've looked at the individual. We've looked at the team. Now it's time to zoom all the way out to the final level, the organization itself. This is the bigger game, the system that creates the rules we all play by. Researcher Jim Collins wanted to know what made good companies become truly great ones, and he found that it often came down to a very specific kind of leader he called level 5. These aren't the flashy, charismatic CEOs you see on magazine covers. They're this strange mix of fierce, unstoppable professional will combined with deep personal humility. Their ambition isn't for themselves, it's for the organization. He put it perfectly. When things go right, they look out the window to give credit. When things go wrong, they look in the mirror to take the blame. And these level 5 leaders, they operate on a principle that totally flips a common business cliche on its head. We always hear, people are your most important asset. Collins says, nope, that's wrong. The right people are your most important asset. And that one little word changes everything. This leads right to his famous idea. First who, then what. The best leaders focus all their energy on getting the right people on the bus, getting the wrong people off the bus, and getting the right people in the right seats. And they do all of that before they figure out where the bus is even going. Why? Because if you have a bus full of the right people, all working together, you can handle any detour, any bump in the road, and still get to a great destination. And of course, the bus itself, the company, has a structure. You can think of it in 2 basic ways. Some are mechanistic, built like a finely tuned machine, very efficient, very hierarchical, and perfect for a stable, predictable world. Others are organic, built more like a living thing. They're flexible, decentralized, and designed to learn and innovate in a world that's constantly changing. The key is, the structure has to fit the strategy. So how does this all come together? Self-awareness, teamwork, great leadership, the right people. How does it lead to amazing results? Collins gives us one final, powerful image to tie it all together, the flywheel. He discovered that major success is never one single action. It's the result of pushing a giant, heavy flywheel. The first few pushes are incredibly hard, but you keep pushing, consistently in the same direction. Every little effort, hiring a great person, delighting a customer, improving a process, adds momentum, until finally, the flywheel is spinning on its own with unstoppable force. And that really is the biggest takeaway from our entire journey today. True effectiveness, whether it's personal or professional, isn't a light switch you can just flip on. It's a flywheel. It's built by small, consistent, disciplined pushes day in and day out. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what part of your flywheel are you going to push on tomorrow?